I mean, I'm okay with this, but I'm just so small. Do you like the full screen?
You got a full screen for me. Hold on.
I like it, man. What are you doing over here? You're doing my voice, man.
This is sick. So what? It doesn't look like it's. I got a full screen for you.
You got it, dude. Don't touch nothing else. You did it.
All right, we're gonna stick with this.
It only took you 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Most babe would have done it in
Dude,
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
let's go,
So,
Derek.
just saying.
What's going on, crypto bro?
Man, I'm awesome. This is like, I know we're getting closer to the top when crypto bros start getting to be cool and they're getting featured on other channels. I mean, that's cool. I'm like, yes.
You've been doing great, bro. You've been blowing up. You're staying consistent. You're doing lives every single day. And
Yeah, that's thanks to Bullish
love
Babe.
you.
I wouldn't be
People
doing
love
these
you.
lives without Bullish Babe. She talked me into it. I did a few, and like I'd hop on other people's live, but I never really did my own lives, right? Because I know me. I know my limitations, and I know when I start talking about something I'm passionate in, I could swing in directions that are probably not, we shouldn't go to. And she's great at anchoring and pulling me like I'm that balloon, you know? I'm just floating and I'm excited, and then she has to
Well,
tuck me
tonight is going
down.
to be an entire night where we're going to go into places that we probably absolutely shouldn't. And what a better time than right now, right? Crypto is
Let's
crazy.
do it.
Coins are transitioning every day. One day Solana's pumping, the next day XRP is pumping. And the best part about it is it doesn't matter what is transitioning. It could be Bitcoin to altcoin or men to women. CosmicCrypto is still going to call you crypto bro.
Exactly. It's always going to be crypto, bro. I've done it for years. It's not so much, and I had to make videos too, because sometimes I would get like comments from the females. Hey, what about crypto girls? I'm like, I'm talking about a mindset. I'm not talking about just the dudes.
Everybody's a dude, all right? You could be a chick, and I'm still going to call you dude.
Yeah, but here's the cool thing, man, because I just seen a live earlier today with some people on the panel. I think it was, Joe, the werewolf Joe or whatever it is. But he was talking about how much he loves the people and then some of the community members in here. And I agree, because here's the thing, I served about 8 years in the military, and that's kind of why I kind of wear
Yes.
for this. I was in the Air Force, and
Yes.
when you go through basic training and you go through deployments with different people, you experience something with them that they have experienced with you. That gives you a brotherhood or sisterhood, right? In crypto, we have experienced a lot together. We have experienced so much, and it's so cool to be with other people who have those same feelings, those same emotions, who's gone through maybe, they've been here a while in this FTX, right? People who were here for that. I was making content right before that happened. Like I even made a joking video of me running to my ledger, playing that Quicksilver song like in X-Men, trying to get my crypto off the exchange. Obviously, it would have been too late, right? But it just goes to show you that I went through that with some people, and we know what it feels like to see Terra Luna, a stable coin, depeg and wreck so many lives. We've seen Bitcoin reach 100K. So we've seen a crypto president. I mean, this is like, it's cool. We've all been through this together.
It's amazing that you can see the relationship between something like the community bonding, something like in the military, to even in this space, right? The good times, the bad times, the community people are there, whether they're for your own personal gain or if they're there to kind of put you down. It doesn't matter. The community is the community. You find growth in it in the good times and in the bad times. I think it's beautiful that you can find community anywhere that you decide to interject yourself in. People absolutely love you for it.
And they didn't at first, right? It was a long road. It's been a long if you're gonna make crypto content, I highly suggest you make it right now, like in the, when things are green and candles are up, because when you're making crypto content, when FTX collapsed, when Terra Luna's done, when Sam Bankman-Fried's going to jail and CNBC is calling crypto a scam, and you're out there making the videos in it, it's a whole new level of respect for the comment section, because sometimes crypto bros forget that there's a human being behind the screen. They said some of the meanest things, especially when I said it was a great idea to buy Solana under $10. And that's the video that I have
probably got some real heat for that.
Most hate ever. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it wasn't even a fan favorite at that point.
Not at all. People were in the belief that it was going to go to zero. And that taught me something. Something that I learned at that point that made my journey better is when I learned that when crypto bros start leaning to a side, right? They start all agreeing that the price has to go down, all agreeing the price has to go up, all agreeing that this coin is going to zero. 9 times out of 10, they're wrong.
it's the traditional
every time.
What the 99% do.
Every time.
When the market is greedy, you become a little cautious, and when the market's fearful, maybe you become greedy.
But the thing is, you want to do the opposite, and that's the most hard thing to do. The time to buy, really, when you look back and you actually analyze, bull run from the bear market to the bull run, the absolute best time to buy was when the most negative news came out, right? The best time to sold was when the best positive news came out, sure. Right? And that's a hard battle because of you're a person. You have emotions. You have media screaming at you. It has to go down. You have influencers, getting paid. Oh, it's got to go to Bitcoin. Has to go to 12K. For those of you who've been in here a while, you remember that. That's what they told me on my content. No, bro, you're buying too early. You have to wait till Bitcoin goes down to 12K first. Crazy.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest parts to go against the grain is you have to have self-conviction in the things that you research and the things that you invest in. Ultimately, if you're stuck in that phase, and everybody kind of started there, where you're influenced by TikTok or Twitter, and it's all the speculative accounts, then ultimately they're switching sides every here and there. So it's very tough to find conviction if you're not listening to the right people.
Yeah, and last cycle, I would say when you watched crypto content, it was very scammy. There's a lot of hidden scams built right there. They would do the Bitcoin, Ethereum, some rando coin you never heard of before, but they're just trying to let you, think that this one's going to be the next 100x, Remember those? This coin is going to be the next one.
Then shoving it down your throat. Buy until you die.
And had the Ferrari parked behind them, you know what I mean? Right? And all of a sudden, lasers just came out of their eyes, right? It was freaking nuts.
Are they wearing a wig, though?
But yeah, they were crypto chads, and that's what really expired the crypto chads, because they had all crazy the hair and things, and man, and there wasn't an emergence of a lot of real crypto bros. It was mostly paid actors or influencers, right? And I decided one day to, you know what? I love crypto. I love talking about it. I love HBAR. I love ALGO. I mean, I've been literally talking about the same coin since I started. I haven't really talked about too many other projects. Bullish Babe said, hey, you want to talk about Bitcoin Cash today? And I'm like, we can. She goes, well, what do you know about it? It goes, well, I'm not really into it. I don't hold it, so I'm not into it as much. But it's not saying it's a bad project. This is, there's how many freaking coins? There's a lot. There's a lot of coins. You can't be Pokemon trying to catch them all in a game that's built around volume.
Was it the crypto chads that inspired you to start to have an online presence and become CosmicCrypto?
I wanted to do it for a while before I actually started doing it, right? And I really wanted to do it earlier in the bull run of last cycle. But just like, I'm just like you. I have fears. I have, what if I'm not good? What if people hate my content? What if people think I'm stupid? And it took me some time to finally gain the strength to say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to do it. And I started wrong. I started on YouTube and I had to make those corny ass thumbnails and I'm like pointing to a project, the next hidden gem. Like my old videos are still on YouTube, right? It was bad. My teeth were jacked up during the time, and that was a big part of the reason why I didn't do it either is during that time I was having really bad dental problems from being in the military for 8 years. I developed, when I go to sleep at night, I clench. And I'm 47, and eventually it wore out my enamel where I've gotten so many different procedures that's like, dude, we got to do something else. we got to do something else. And the thing that I wanted was the most expensive thing because it's the most real as you can possibly get. And I made that my goal. I said, hey, I'm gonna do my crypto thing. I'm gonna make videos, and at some point, I know where I'm getting these surgeries. I'm not even gonna have teeth. I'm literally gonna be making content with no teeth.
Once you realize that being a food inspector was completely off the table, I might have to work from home.
Yeah, but doing the videos also kept me accountable and to my own goals and my own convictions, right? And a lot of my earlier content, when I was making the videos, I wasn't really making it for people. I was making it for myself, to remind myself, on those red, scary days, like, this is how, people get trapped. Emotions, don't let it affect you. And it just kept going and going. I kept showing up, and here we go. Now we're in, getting close to the end of season 3 here. And I'm finally doing live, so I'm warming up. Let's go.
I'd love to know, what was your childhood like? Were you a class clown? What was your childhood like, dude?
So I think I feel like your childhood is really what defines you, your environment and stuff. And, my dad left when I was born. My mom had me when she was really young. So we grew up in a really poor family. We lived with my grandmother and stuff. And my mom would meet a guy, marry him. She ended up getting married like 4 or 5 times. So I was constantly as a kid dragged to new school systems, and always having to try to adapt. Even being there, you just never feel like you fit in, but yeah, part of my life was just that. It was, getting dragged around and then being told one day, hey, you can't see this guy anymore, even though you try to build a relationship with him. So really, really tough. But I really got angry as a teenager, and that's when I decided to join the military. And at 18, I 2 weeks out of high school, I went to the Air Force, and it helped me a lot. It helped really change my life, and learned a lot about discipline. Since not having a dad growing up, I was never taught like basic things like woodworking or this or that. So I learned a lot, more hands-on type stuff, and I've always been smart, and I think I've gotten a lot of that from just having, through the traumas through my own life and learning how to figure and adapt quick to things. But yeah, I made it out of the military, and I got out. I did 4 years. They sent me to Minot, North Dakota for 4 years. Missile security. I was law enforcement. And I got out, came back to good old Indiana here, got a job at the correctional prison where Mike Tyson was at, and went through the whole training. The last day was 9/11, and they called my work. I got activated. I got sent over to we had Grissom Air Reserve Base, and I got reactivated. And I was in the second to third plane that flew into Afghanistan that were taking the Taliban Al-Qaeda from there to Cuba. Wow. Because I had that detainee experience. And then from there, I went all over, from Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Turkey. Learned to speak different languages, some Russian and Kyrgyzstan, like как дела, как тебя зовут, just asking, da 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 da. So yeah, man, dude, the whole show would probably be my life, because then after I get out of the military, I join a cult where we did coupon book selling.
What kind of? Okay, well, you can't just say that, and I can't just move on. What do you mean you joined the cult? What kind of cult?
Oh man! So when I got out of the military, I was looking for a job, and like I was gone through some stuff. You know, I've seen stuff over there, and it was hard to like relate to a regular job. And I ran into this company, and it was off Craigslist. And this was back in the day when it was more safe to go on Craigslist to grab those things and look at it and get murdered. But they say, hey, we're going to do marketing. We do word of mouth marketing, and you're going to go out and talk about brands. I said, hell, that's cool. Yeah, I've never done that before, but you know what? I'm competitive. I was in the military for 8 years now. I go hang out with the guys. They take me to this big ass neighborhood. I'm thinking, man, these guys must be loaded. And they get out, they hand me a stack of coupon books, and they said, we're gonna go sell these. I've never sold anything, and I tried it, and I ended up selling something, and it actually sparked something into me, and I was excited. Oh my god, I got money! I started running. I ran down the road. I think by my sheer excitement, I sold like a couple more coupon books. And they said, hey, look, here's the deal, right? This is commission only. You come out here, you have to knock on 100 doors a day. You're going to go out and take 60, 70, 80 no's today. But you're just looking for like 10 to 15 yeses, right? If you can do that, commission only, and you can build a team where you and your team is doing that, we're going to open you up in another city. Now, most people would have left. Not me. I got promoted and I started opening up offices. I lived over in Michigan for a while. I lived over in kind of, I think, where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Yeah, I lived in New York for a good year or something like that. North Carolina, and they're in Charlotte area. And at that point, I was probably 27, 28. Making well over, $200,000, right? Going to clubs, partying, Mr. Cool Guy, cool car, cool everything, cash, right? I'm not even in the field, right? I just got my crew out there doing that shit, right? I got into the white stuff that's you shouldn't take. You know what I'm talking about. And I have an addictive personality, and I started doing it all the time, right? And eventually we were going to a club, and we decided to pregame a little bit in the car. All of a sudden, the cops on bikes knocking on the window, tap 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 tap. I'm like, oh shit, I got the stuff on me. And the cool thing about North Carolina is if you have no records, and if you agree to submit to urine test for a year and pass every one of them that you're asked to, they drop the charges. And I did. I dropped the charge. They dropped the charges. I changed my life. By that time, the kids started selling the coupon books. They were using it for like fundraisers. So I got out of that and ended up getting a job at Circuit City. I love technology. I loved all that stuff, man. And with my sales skills, I was able to do like $500,000 worth of sales within like 6 weeks. They made me the assistant manager of the store, and they were working on giving me my own store. But then all of a sudden, we hate to break the news, we're closing down all stores. So I had to leave there, man. And then I ended up hooking up a guy I did coupon books with. We did some other stuff. And this is when I lived in New York. And it was the night of Cinco de Mayo. And we were building the crew to sell this stuff called Fast Wax. And you may have seen it. You would drive up to a gas station, and somebody would be holding a spray bottle. Hey, I noticed you got that little, black mark on your car. Here, watch this. I'll take it off for you free, right? The whole goal is to sell you the bottle, right? Cash. And we lived, we actually worked in Connecticut, but we were living in New York, so we just take the ferry. Good time. Smoke a blunt over the ferry. You pull your car in there. But it was the night of Cinco de Mayo. I had just left him, and he was going to go pick up a buddy of mine with an airport, and he was with a girl that we had just met that night. I get a call 5 minutes later, the girl that he was with screaming, saying that my best friend, my brother, got hit by a car. The girl I was with, I'm like, turn around, I got to go back, you know, and finally ended up going back, and he ended up dying. And it definitely messed me up, because it was like just minutes I was just with him. And this is a guy that I sold coupon books with, did all this stuff with, you know, as a mentor towards me. He always said, like, you had to be a rhino, you know, because rhinos can only go forward, and they have the strong, you know, hide, right? And it was like the Rhino Squad. Love that. That's what we called ourselves, the Rhino Squads. But my brother was getting married that same weekend, so I came back down, and Normie wife here was a girl I had dated in high school, my first love. Took her to both my proms. You know, I had gotten married and having a son and got a divorce. She, same thing. She didn't have any kids, but she had got married and got divorced. But we'd always talk to each other. So over at the wedding, she was there. My mom had invited her, and she had a couple drinks, and she said, hey, if we're going to do this, it's going to be now or never. I said, man, let's go. So we hopped in, went to New York, got my stuff, buried my friend, came back here to Indiana, and married Normie wife, and then sold stun guns, business to business for a bit. I bought a whole bunch of stun guns, you know, like from China. And I was just, you know, for cash, you know. And then finally I decided I wanted to get into marketing and into, like, you know, social media and stuff, because I understood sales, and sales is a lot like marketing. And I ended up taking some marketing classes and decided to open up a website design marketing business with a guy that was really good at doing websites. Well, he quit on me. He wouldn't leave the company. Like, I left the company, but he didn't leave the company. So I had to learn how to do websites. I'd watch videos on YouTube, figure that out, and that was a decade ago, man. That's it, bro. We're here. We're in the present.
Here you are.
Woo!
Wow.
That's a mouthful, right?
Thank you for opening up and sharing that aspect of your life. But it sounds like you've gone through some really good highs and some really bad lows.
Like crypto, right? That's why I totally relate. I can take punishment.
It's amazing, man. It's like you just have this characteristic about you that you like you said, you just continue to go forward regardless of how the times look, or regardless of how the day is. You have this persistent, like, go get 'em mentality, and that's exactly what it's leading to your successes. You just don't give up.
Just don't give up. It's like, you know, people talk about conviction. You know, my goal was just to show you it.
Amazing. I want to know how does your brain work, right? Like when you're making those funny videos. Like, I got ADHD. I've had ADHD my entire life. You definitely have to have it, because there's no way you're doing. I'm so on the spectrum. There's no way you're doing that raw dog in life. We're probably both, like, a little undiagnosed, but we're just silly about it.
Right.
But how does your brain work? Like, how are you coming up with these videos all the time? Like, how?
You know, so I've always been, and you had asked, you know, back in high school, yeah, I was the class clown, right? I love to make people laugh. And I think that was kind of like my way of coping, right? Going through my traumas in my life and stuff. Like, I was really good at making people laugh, and making people laugh made me laugh, right? Yeah. Because I get excited about, you know, not so much my video, but the reactions to it, you know? So, but I like I said, oh, thank you so much. Like I said, we came from a very poor family, right? We would play, me and my brother would play the tape game, we called it, where we had a roll of duct tape. And it's kind of like Army dodgeball, but you can't get up. And you had to roll the tape. So I had to become real creative of different ways to, like, entertain myself and my brother, right? And I think that led to, you know, my imagination today, right? Where my brain goes, you know, like, because I think a lot of shit's funny, and sometimes people probably like, "Wow, that was stupid," and sometimes they are stupid, but sometimes they're freaking funny. But yeah, man, I'm taking ADHD medicine. I'm highly prescribed to doctors, and I have a slight hint of autism. But what's cool is sometimes I could go from that to like all like serious mode too, right? And I think that's that ADHD hyper focus part, right? It's like a gift and a curse, because sometimes, you know, we're like, we can be goofy or whatever, but sometimes when that shit that we're talking about or we're looking at or we're focusing on lights that dopamine in our brain, oh my God. And it's just like, I'm in rabbit holes, right? And I am I can't do the regular conversations like how, I mean, you've seen my life, you heard about my life. Small talk doesn't do it for me. You don't see the little picture, you know, like where you don't see me, but you just see like a silhouette, and here's the brain, and here's that little thing where dopamine is created. You know, it's like, oh, you start talking about like, you know, crypto and the markets and things like that, and you know, then it's like ding 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 ding, ding, you know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I grew up with ADHD all my life, and I guess growing up with it, I was almost embarrassed of it, probably until I got into college, and then I realized that this is a superpower. I said I could do some really interesting things, and my brain, the way that my brain works is I think of like a million things a second, but when you do focus in on something, it's there.
Right.
In terms of the content, it's like, at least for you, when you have these key moments where you're like, I got it, you listen to a sound, or you're watching a movie and you pick a skit out of it and you go, this is it, I got it. How does that lock in for you?
So I'll just like scroll through my For You page, right? And then I'll see like something, right? Something funny, maybe a certain sound or whatever. And then my mind somehow just starts putting it together right then and there, right? It's like, wouldn't it be funny if, and if I can't do it, then I'll just save it and I'll come back to it, right? But typically, if I can, like, maybe if I'm having a feeling, maybe I want to talk about certain thing, maybe I'll search for something similar to that. But a lot of the time, man, it's just like, oh, this is funny. I like this sound. Oh, this would be perfect for this type of skit.
Oh, great. I have a wig. I have my wife's wig in the closet. Let me get that. Next week, I may put on lipstick.
So that's actually a Halloween costume. It was for the 80s costumes that you can get at the thing, or come with a jumpsuit.
Yep.
Crypto Chad, he popped in the bear market. And if his first video of mine is, it was just him, and he was just talking about, you know, this coin's going to probably 100x and da-da-da-da-da, you know, the scam, how they did, right? And then it went into me talking. And then later on, I don't know why, I just kept bringing him back. We had fights, me and him did, during the bear market. What's that bit? I mean, what's that crypto bro that just got put into jail? That was that big one. BitBoy Crypto, right?
Oh yeah.
So Crypto Chad BitBoyed me. So I was using like green screen, you know, having two videos going at once, you know, kind of fun stuff. Where I think it's fun for the crowd when they see me and him together. You know, it's cool to see me or him, but when you see me and Crypto Chad together, I think it gives it a whole new dynamic. Or it might be nuts, and I should probably just throw that damn wig away. But some people, he has a cult following, believe it or not. But I think there's a little bit of Crypto Chad in all of us, right?
Well, I don't know if I'm necessarily, but no. If Crypto Chad had a Tinder bio, what would it say?
Well, you know, he's actually a Bitcoin and Solana maxi. So I'm pretty sure you could draw some conclusions on that one.
You ever consider doing stand-up?
Yeah, no, I'm not that funny.
I thought about it for a while, and you know, I think humor, when it comes naturally through conversations, it clicks with me a little bit easier. But to sit down and actually write it on a pen and pad and then have it come
I've
out?
never tried that. Like all the things I've done, I've never wrote down to do. Right? It was just me in my head, and sometimes I get so excited to post it out. Like maybe I don't put the date, or maybe I don't even clean the screen. Like so many times I recorded some of my best videos, but I never cleaned the camera on, so that it's all blurry. You know, the lights all reflected and weird and stuff. Hate that.
So your overall goal is to become a digital asset investor. Could you explain to me, what does that mean to you?
So really, it means that you're an investor, right, into digital assets.
That's it?
But also not to have as much biases. What I have found is this, right? This is personal experience, and I know we're going to talk about XRP. We're going to just, sometimes it's good just to get the elephant out of the room, right? So sometimes some crypto bros treat XRP like the redheaded stepchild. I'm just going to say it, right? Especially when it comes to their content and everything else. Even though Ripple was one fighting the SEC and all that stuff through all that, but never mind, right? So I think it's not fair, because number one, that means that you are buying off of a bias, and that bias is based off emotion. If it's one of the first things that you learn in investing is never invest based upon emotion, right? I hate Solana. I'm just gonna say it. I hate it. I hate it with a freaking passion. I think it's stupid. The technology of how they can count failed transaction as a transaction, how all these little stupid meme coins are all over the place, and right? But I made the most money I've ever made on a coin by buying Solana, $8 or $9.
$10, Chad. I got in at $10.
Right? So who cares if I hate it or not? I made a shitload of money. I got teeth. I got a freaking nice car. I got a whole bunch of money in my shit.
Get you a steak.
Fuck your biases. XRP was the move. Just like, and XRP maxis are gonna hate when I say this next. Just like the next move was to take some of that XRP profit and buy Ethereum when it was $1,400. That was the next move. I did that. I wish I would have done more.
400% return. I mean, who's complaining about that? Yeah, no, XRP wasn't even in the list of assets that I was going to talk to you about tonight, but we could dig into it a little bit later if you'd like. I think for me, being a digital asset investor, it's almost like coming on like it's like being a pioneer in the space, right? Like you're coming across from Europe, not necessarily know if you're going to sail and the ship's just going to fall off the edge of the earth. You don't really know what's ahead of you. It's a bunch of clouds, and you're hoping that there is like a promised land on the other end of that. And everybody's still learning. I mean, the space is so new. It's the first asset class in the last 100 years, and it's the first time that retail got in before institutions. So everyone is kind of still arguing about, my cat is better than your dog, right? These little animal coins, instead of actually sitting here and going, wait a minute, guys, we actually have to step up on the institutions we're in before then. So I don't know. I think everybody that's even listening now, you guys are so early, and I always say there's only 3 ways that you can fuck it up. 1 is buying the wrong thing. 2 is being emotional, and 3 is not custodying your digital assets properly. So
that was huge.
My experience of being a digital asset investor, a lot of it was just self-education. It was failures and learning, and okay, this works or this doesn't work, and listening to other people, using them as shortcuts. So my whole aspect of being a digital asset investor is just continuing my education in it.
Yeah, you're not early, bro.
Why do you say that?
What the hell? I love how you said that.
We are.
You're early. You are not early.
We're right on
We've
time.
been here 17 years. 17 years. No, we are really early, because if you think about it in the internet itself, right? Where was the internet at in 17 years? I think that would have been what, like 2014 or something like that? Or 7. Maybe I'm way off. But anyway, it's not the internet of today, right? But I do think that if you wait too long, you know, my thesis has always been you're late after regulation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that being in before that mass institutional governmental central bank adoption. I think we are right on time. Right, regulations are coming around the block. I don't know about you, but I do believe that this space could grow to 100 trillion in due time. The fact that people are getting in at 4, I think that's a pretty good jump in before everyone else. Yeah, I don't know. I think that we are early compared to maybe some of the other people, because most people don't even know what crypto is. You tell them about crypto, they go, "Oh, that Bitcoin or that Chuck E. Cheese money." You know, some people have no idea what Algorand is, or Quant, or Hedera, Chainlink. They don't even understand how it works, or they've never even heard of the names. You know, once your barber starts to talk about it, that's kind of when you go, maybe I should go home and
well,
open
you
up
know,
the
we're in an interesting part right here, right? You know, as far as early or late in the cycle, I think we're almost done with the cycle, right? And this is where me and Bullish Babe probably have our biggest differences. You know, because she believes we may go into a super cycle, and I'm like, nah, we're not going into a super cycle. But for the long haul, you could be early if you're into the right projects, because one of the big things that I like to focus on, and Bullish Babe loves when I talk about this, is how things in the telecommunications world had actually related to crypto with the timeline of regulation, right? And you start hopping into Chat GPT and you start looking for different confluences off of, you know, different names of companies. One, back then, you know how we have World Liberty? You know, back then they had Liberty Media that bought up a whole bunch of infrastructure for telecommunications.
how did you end up connecting the two? Can you walk me through this?
Sure. So I'm old and I've seen a lot of history with new things happen. I started off with a phone that was plugged into the wall. And then I started off, and then next we had the ones we didn't have to have a plug in the wall no more. We could just actually have an antenna in the house, right? And then we went to, oh my God, I have a bag phone. I can plug it in my car, right? Oh, wait a minute. We can talk on cell phones. Hey, we're talking in our watches. Hey, we can basically talk in anything, right? That. I don't know where I was going with this, but it was just a great like trip down somewhere I think was relevant.
No, the comparison between
oh yes. So me understanding in my life, seeing different things change in history, right? Seeing the internet come out, right? Because I was part of it at a time where we didn't have internet. We had to go out and play in the street and make sure we got home before the street lights and
mud pies,
you know. Big wheels. Love my big wheel, man. Oh, and I had the one that had the little like lever that if you did that, the back wheel would kick out.
Oh yeah, I wish I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, probably not, right?
The big wheels.
But me understanding how history is, or how technology shifts, right? I said, hey, have we seen adoption like this before? Well, we have in telecommunications. You know, you look back in any adoption, you know, and there was different things that happened. And then I said, hey, show me some confluences. And you guys can do this at home, you know, between the telecommunications industry and crypto industry now, right? And are there parallels? And sure as shit, you're going to find some stuff. And then that rabbit hole, you're going to keep digging and you're going to like, wow. At first, I didn't think how deep I could get into the hole. But 3 days later, it was a lot of confluences.
I actually made a video about how we're in a very similar time in early blockchain adoption to how it was with early internet adoption. And if I'm trying to find my keynotes, but there was a lot of friction points between the early days of the internet. You know, interoperability wasn't available. as well as communication between it, right? You had a lot of centralization with the internet. I mean, you probably still do now.
Yeah, that was a big fight. Decentralization versus centralization. You had like, AOL bros, dumping on, whoever bros, right? Everybody was all similar to how it was in crypto. They were fighting. The meme coins were actually all those different phone cards that would pop out everywhere. It took 20 years for them to get regulation. And once they got that regulation, an interesting thing happened. Most of those other ones, they died off. And the market had chosen which ones were going to be the ones, right? The Googles, this, that, whatever, right? And I think the market will do that. And the market will choose here as well. And I think that buying opportunity, I suspect that this is nothing more than that we're in right now is a speculative bubble at this point. All the signs show it. I don't think now is the utility bull run. I'm disappointed that it isn't, but I believe that within 1 to 2 years that we could see the utility bull run.
So we could dive a little bit into your theory. My takeaway from your theory is that this is not a super cycle. It's just like any other cycle, and that capital is going to flow downhill, right? Bitcoins to alts to mid caps, which I agree that if you look at the past cycles, that's typically how the wealth has been distributed. Another thing that you said is you believe that XRP may only just hit somewhere between $4 to $6 this cycle.
10 is my top.
And the smart move would be to kind of find exit ways on the way out as things decide to go up. Could you tell me how you formulated your theory? Like, walk me through this thought process of yours.
Yeah. So number one, market cap matters.
I actually got a video tomorrow, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But I have a video coming out tomorrow explaining the math, and it's about a 9-minute video. It's kind of sick, but it's a $100 XRP. You're more than welcome to target it if you like. But
is it the same video as I seen Jay Claver said that too as well, right?
Said what?
This is about $100 XRP. Like I seen that today too already. Did he steal it before you?
I think $100 is being conservative. But in the video, I do explain why market cap is a myth, but we'll save that for tomorrow. I'll drop that tomorrow.
So I would agree.
DM me. We could talk about it.
Yeah, so I would agree to that it being a myth once it actually becomes a myth, right? And right now, it's just not there, right? Because it mattered last cycle. And actually, out of all of them, XRP really respects its market cap. But it's sexy. So why do people buy? Why would somebody buy $100,000 Bitcoin? Right? Right? And this is what I had to think about last cycle. Why are people out here buying $100,000 Bitcoin right now? Right? Well, they have to believe that Bitcoin is going to do way more to buy that. Right. And it sounds sexier, right? Same thing with XRP. This is how I feel about it, right? All the math says, by market cap, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Maybe it goes higher, and trust me, dude, it's my biggest bag, right? But as a content creator, are you going to get a bunch of clicks and likes and followers from somebody saying, hey, this is going to go, well, it's already at $3. Why do I care if it goes to $10? That doesn't sound sexy at all, right? But people will buy $7, $8, $9, $10 XRP believing that it's going to get to $100 to $500 to $1,000.
So I find this very interesting from you, being that you are utility focused and you do believe that institutions, central banks, and governments are going to come into the space, and that trillions will flow through the chosen utility rails. Why do you find it so hard to believe that these institutions are going to be the ones to ultimately move?
Because I know what the institutions will do.
Walk me through it.
They're going to crash the market. Why would they want to buy tops? You don't think institutions control the media? Who controls the media? Institutions control the media, right?
Here's my perspective, right? When you have a utility asset, whether it's utilized for AI, data, cross-border payments. This is probably the first time where these institutions don't actually care about the price of the asset, right? So for XRP is a perfect example. If an institution needs to send $1 million payment, and let's say XRP is $1, they just know that they need $1 million worth of XRP. Doesn't matter if it's 1 million XRP or if XRP is 50 cents and they need 2 million XRP for it. All they know is they need $2 million XRP worth. All they know is they need to send $1 million, and the amount of XRP that's required to send that is irrelevant. They don't necessarily care about the price of the asset when they're utilizing the technology for its purpose. All they know is that I have $1 million. This person needs to receive $1 million. How many coins is it going to take to move that? So I think that it's almost crazy to think that this is probably the first time where an asset is based off of price and utility, and the institutions that are going to utilize it don't necessarily care what the price of the asset is. How much of the asset do they need? All they know is that I have $1 million. He needs $1 million. What do we need to send that?
I mean, it sounds great. It does. It does sound good. It's just not. We're not there yet. You know.
Yeah.
I think we're not there. You know, it'd be different if XRP was not doing everything. If it wasn't moving. Okay, so I'm gonna throw you a huge bone here. If you take the XRP chart, you take the Bitcoin chart, and you put over it, the only time XRP ever moves, like huge movements, is during two scenarios. A, Bitcoin's coming out of a bear market, right, and sets a brand new all-time high. There's expansion. We seen that last April, right? Or two, cycle tops. Until it starts moving independent of the market, it's not. It's the same, right? It's the same speculative bubble. We have Fartcoin pumping or this, right? You know, it's just like we ain't there yet, and I think everything has to get burned down to get there.
I like what you said. It's a speculative bubble, and I think that we both agree that regulations will be the catalyst for it to eventually go to where it needs to be.
Now, what you're talking about, this may happen next, right? Within that 1 to 2 years, where maybe eventually market cap may not matter, right? Because I don't suspect us having all these projects.
Yeah, I don't either. I think regulations will probably crush 90% of the market.
That's the idea of regulations.
But if we are following regulatory timeframes and we see, okay, the Genius Act just got passed, the Stable Act, Clarity Act, as well as the KYC AML is supposed to be voted on in September.
Mm-hmm.
What would indicate that it would necessarily not be the cycle if we know regulations are kind of in the foresight, as well as the institutional FOMO is there? Why would we kind of not be projecting it to be this is the institutional adoption super cycle?
Because we don't have it yet, and we probably only have less time to get there before it does happen, right? You know, so I speculate that we'll probably see a top pretty soon here in the next 30, 40 days, September, October timeframe, more likely around September timeframe of the market. And I think it's going to have a nice, decent crash after that. And I think it's going to be great buying time. That's what I'm trying to get, as much paper as I can stacked and ready to deploy for when the big crash happens. And you can kind of see it. I mean, we're starting to move into a position with the Fed. You know, the Fed is looking to cut. Why are they looking to cut? Why are they cutting? Are they cutting just because? Or is there a problem?
They want to flood the market.
Is there a problem? There's a problem. They only cut if there's a problem. And if you look back in history, crypto bros, rate cuts, 7 out of 8 times were not bullish. They were bad. Only 1 or 2 were actually bullish. And I just feel like the setup is getting perfectly orchestrated for here we go right now. We have a rate cut narrative. You have Powell being Powell, right? And basically singling the rate cut. You have the CME Fed tool watch basically singling the rate cut. I mean, you have all these signs saying we're going to cut rates. You have the Russell 2000, which is the the low cap stocks, which has been just like the altcoins, Magnificent Seven, like Nvidia being Bitcoin, right? Who's been leading the way, and we've only seen a couple moments of breath through the last several years, right? This has been a tightly wound up market due to fear, right? And now we're seeing negative news on Nvidia today. They may have made it, but not by as much as anticipated. It dropped huge. We're seeing negative news on Bitcoin, right? And I'm thinking and if you look at the Russell 2000, it's starting to move up. There's a rotation happening. Same thing into the altcoins. What ran today? It was Crow. Crow had a great day today, right? Huge day. You've seen it with Ethereum. You've seen it with XRP. And I think you're going to see a bigger risk curve. And I just feel like when this happens, it's going to surprise a lot of people. And they're going to get excited about this rate cut because guess what? We have another rate cut coming, Crypto Bro, in December. And fourth quarter is usually great for Crypto Bros. And I think that's not true. I think the jobs become the problem, and they start spiraling worse. And I think we could you would already have been buying into the retracement in the end of the fourth quarter before it goes down. Because if you look back at every cycle, when we're going up, people fear the dip in a bull run, right? Even this dip we just had, it's fearful, right? Like, oh God, is this the end or maybe not? Is it at the end or not? When you're buying at the top and you're buying past the top, you're not fearful. Why? The market's in euphoria. You're okay. You're awesome. It's going down. We already know what's going to happen. It's done it every other time. Plus, we got another rate cut coming. And they'll buy right into that retrace. And that's a perfect setup right there. I'm not saying it has to happen like that. That's just my thesis, right? Because we've seen it before. And usually there's this time is different narratives thrown into there. A lot of macro, which is like what we have going on with Russia and Ukraine, which was a big catalyst that started the bear market. And then obviously you see what gold has done. Gold has had this huge bull run, and there's a lot of people in profit into gold. And maybe it takes one more stab at it and doesn't make it, and that's when we explode. But I just feel like we are so close, and I know how fast these things go, that it's going to catch people off guard, as it always does.
Okay, so I think I found exactly where the fence divides the yard. We both agree that institutions are coming. Regulations are going to be the catalyst for the institutional adoption, and that the cycles will at some point switch from a speculative market into a utility-driven market.
Yes.
Where we're disagreeing is maybe the institutional adoption timeline.
The timeline. I think everybody's timeline is off, because if you look back and you do the research, like what happened in communications, it took a year or two. People are expecting that we come over here and we got to regulate. We got it. It came in. It took years to get it all figured out. It's like a car. You got to figure out all the, we didn't even know we needed this sign. When does the government move fast at anything? Right? Right. Especially, we're probably not going to get an all-Republican House and Senate this time. They probably might kind of mess that up, but you could drag things on a little bit more, because a lot of the negative crypto stuff comes from the Democrats, right? So I'm just saying, even though regulation's coming, it's almost here. When it comes, that doesn't mean we get it. That just means that it has started, and it could go for a couple of years, right?
Interesting. Yeah, look, I think regardless of, if your theory is right or my theory is right, we're both going to win at the end, because I would love a couple red days. If this thing would go, if all my assets dropped another 300%, oh my God, I'd mortgage the house, I'd sell the truck.
Right?
I'd be going heavy in. And, not for nothing, I'm sure you would be doing the same. You'd be taking advantage of that dip, right, or that pullback. And then if it does go up, then, okay, I've had the last couple of years to accumulate. So I think that we're both in a position where, regardless of what happens, we're going to be okay.
Yeah. And me, I'm hoping you guys are right. I hope it's faster. It's just my spider sense, Crypto Bros, tingling. There's things in the air that everything's moving just like the stock market. I mean, literally, if you look at the Russell and then the altcoins, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I hate it because I'm ready for it. I'm I'm a utility maxi. Let's go.
So why would you believe that we're not early if you do believe we still have a little bit of yardage to go with institutional adoption?
We have some yardage to go, I feel like.
So
but I think a lot of people could make some money in the speculative bubble.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
And that money could buy your big spot into when that dip happens. And then you just have to have conviction when it does, because it always does. I have not seen anywhere on a chart where something went up and never came back down. They don't go like that.
Absolutely. Do you think that when institutional adoption does decide to jump in and you do get that God green candle, right, the institutions?
You won't get it. They're going to be buying it when everybody's calling it a scam. Because when I think, how I said this is a speculative bubble and we come back down, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some type of narrative, some type of reason why all these things have to crash. The jobs, it's scary. They're not buying because, fuck, we may not have a job. Right? We're trying to save all our money we can. Everything, we have prices, inflation still getting higher. Right? Less jobs, more inflation. That sounds like a very fun time. That we'll probably have for the next couple of years. And I think during that time, institutions will be buying. They'll be buying when nobody's paying attention, because that's when they always do. They don't buy when people are paying attention. They're not going to buy the freaking top of a bull run. They're not the normies, right? They come in at the last minute and buy them. I speculate most of them are in now. I don't think a lot of crypto bros have been buying the dips. Who's been buying the dips?
You put aside the ETFs, right? Because that's a speculative class within its own. Of course, they're buying it to hold it in hopes that the price will increase. But as a utility maxi, the institutional adoption, do you necessarily think that these institutions, these governments, these central banks are buying, hoping to flip a profit? Or do you think that they're buying it to integrate it into whatever software, whatever use cases that they find necessary?
Well,
and if it is the case, what does the price of the coin matter if they are the ones to pump trillions of dollars into the ecosystem?
I think they're going to. So when institutions take profit, is that called institutional profit taking?
I don't know.
Or is that just called dumping?
Stick with that, right? We could just call
there's a liquidity crisis going on, right? They're going to have to print some probably, and that could be a great narrative, even though there's a lag, right? Just like those M2 crypto bros that have been showing you the chart of the M2 and how it has to fight, and then now it's like, fucking, what's wrong with it? I know it got no gas in it, whatever. It's a liquidity crisis. It's probably going to suck for another year or two, right? But during that time, I guarantee you the people who are going to want to be in to be able to buy, they're going to be buying during that time. Now, I'm not saying that XRP would ever go under 51 cents again either, though, right? And if you bought that, I'm sorry?
I wish it did.
Right? We probably won't see that again. But at the same aspect, we're going to see a typical crash because it follows liquidity cycles. No matter what kind of institutional stuff that it does and whatever, everything follows a liquidity cycle. Now, when it becomes a use case and it's actually a utility bull run because the market's picked this one, that's different, right? You don't have all this other bullshit pumping. You don't have to have Bitcoin pumping. You're actually making money because this blockchain is doing what it's supposed to do. And I wish we were there. We're close. I think we're super close.
It's a very interesting perspective. Your favorite, obviously, I guess your favorite asset is Algorand with a hint of HBAR, maybe some quant. Can you tell me? Why do you like
my largest bag actually is XRP.
So I should have thrown that in there. I told you I didn't have it written down.
When XRP, and I didn't even buy a lot of XRP during the bear market, right? I had some. I didn't even buy it at all the cycle before, right? Because it was going with the lawsuit and shit. What sold me on XRP had nothing to do with the tech, with anything magical, was that when the market took off without it, And I had just seen what I had seen happen with me in Solana, and seeing how many people were offsides on there. And then for fun, I made a video and said something funny about, buying XRP. And I started getting people, oh, it's a stable coin. Same shit that I seen on my Solana comments. I'm like, oh shit. I went in heavy. I started like taking all my other bags and like forming it all into XRP. And I just held my conviction with that. I just ran it, and I try to tell as many people on lives that I try to tell Will Watson, I know me and you are fighting next week. You probably have the ops watching me right now. I try to tell you, bro. I try to tell you. I know you didn't see that triangle 7 years, but it was there, bro, the whole time. I'm excited for that too. A little battle with him.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it, please.
Yeah, so, oh God, the first time I met Will Watson on TikTok, this is right when HBAR had a huge pump based upon the news that there was some type of, I can't remember what it was, but it had to do with BlackRock, right? There was a fund or something, like a tokenized fund or something put into Hedera. And then he made a video saying, oh, well, BlackRock didn't know. So I made a video against him. Like, how would they not know when, if you actually look at it, more than 80% of the companies that's actually in the governance council, they're owned by BlackRock. Like, look, how would they not know? You think they use, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this asset on there and not tell you, So I made a funny video against him, right? And then once I did that, his videos would pop up once in a while, right? So once in a while, I just feel like, you know what? Fuck William. I'm gonna make a video about William Watson, and then that's how it kind of kicked off. He's wild sometimes, and sometimes I'm wild, and it's going to be a wild time.
I'm looking forward to it. I love a good debate. I'm sure, as you're aware, I frequently try to have debates all the time on my lives. And, I know my name is Blockchain Bully. I'm really not a bully. I'm pretty a fair guy. Unless you say something absolutely stupid, and then you want to double down on it and stick with it, then it's kind of, okay, you're going to get it. But it was funny, like, speaking of debates, I was on Waddy's live today about a half hour before we started this, and then the ISOs got brought up. So we were having very respectful conversation, no back and forth or nothing. And then the arch villain, fucking Crypto Glenn, comes in, and guy absolutely loves it in and around his mouth. And we had a little bit of a conversation, and then as soon as I get off, he's bashing. So I challenged him to a debate. So I got a feeling that a debate is coming up between me and Crypto Glenn.
Anytime XRP pumps, I can guarantee you a couple things. Number one, my bag just got fucking hella good, right? Even if it pumps a little bit, because I have a lot of XRP. And number two, if you hop on TikTok and go to Crypto Glenn's page, there's some anti XRP gonna crash and this, how he does. Like, he makes it his thing, like it's. Yeah, it is. It's good. It's good. It's actually good, right? Because here's what happens.
It's like you can't get it out of his mouth.
I know.
You'll get a 40% pump for the month, and then it'll retrace 7%. He goes, "I told you so."
Yeah, no, and you hate it, but he's right, and it's kind of like a good reminder, and that's why I follow people that maybe I don't like that, but it brings me back to earth, because here in crypto, it's the business of euphoria and green candles. Gives that little thing in your brain. Remember, we talked about it earlier, right? Like, oh, the drug, it's here. I got it. Oh my God, green candles. Ah, right? And then all of a sudden you start getting them red ones. The first one's okay, and then by the fifth one, you're like, fuck, I'm done. I'm tired, right? You lost all of it. But following people that are opposite of you, I highly recommend, because it gives you a different perspective.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think it's just as important for people who are have a name behind them and they are creating some sort of content to continue their education. Whether they're right or they're wrong, everyone has an obligation to their viewers to get the information correct. And as long as you prioritize the truth and you don't get sidelined by, I guess, reputation or anything like that, the entire community grows. And it's not even just the people listening, but even you and me. We're consistently learning, consistently challenging ourselves to different thought processes. It's just as important now more than it ever has.
Yes. Now. What he said.
You gotta keep growing. I mean, the space is moving so fast. News is coming out, right? The new coins are coming out. People are getting more interested into it, and as more people do get interested into it, and you're growing, your followers continue to grow. And
I hope not.
The people that are listening to us, right? As more people come into this space, there's more capital. There's going to be more scammers. There's going to be people out there that are bad actors and have ill intents. So that continuation of education is just as important now than ever.
I don't think they're going to be following me. I'm going to be here in Euphoria making sad emo videos.
Oh, well.
Telling people it's over during Euphoria. Do you think they're going to follow and like my content? Follow and like for me for more.
You might have to just change your hat then. And maybe you will get a couple followers.
But you know what? That's
my glasses, damn it.
If you could say anything, if anybody, especially my day ones, right? If they could agree to anything, it is that when they see comments that are always against what I'm saying, I'm always right. They're coming. It's coming. it's happening.
So you often say that in the space, it's easy in the bull run, and it's just as difficult in the bear.
No, it's easy in the bear market. It's easy.
Oh, okay.
You don't care. You're excited that it dips, right?
Oh,
now,
yeah.
The pressure. Oh my God! I can't imagine new people right now, especially with this weird ass market we got this time, right? I mean, this is an emotional roller coaster, right? You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. It's like Bitcoin, we're so back. Oh shit. Okay, we're back. Oh shit. And new people don't know how to control their emotions. They don't. I highly recommend you do this. Go get you a pad of paper, and call it your crypto journal. And this is what I did. I would write down on the days that were scary and the days that were awesome, and the days I just really wanted to. Today, a big bad liquidation happened. One of my videos, I wrote the one that happened when the market crashed from COVID, right? When that was announced and the market crashed. And I was saying, look, everybody's out here right now saying that it's over. There's fear in the market. Bitcoin has crashed, what was it, like 40, 50% or something crazy. It was stupid, right? Everybody's saying it's over. And I don't even know if I should, and it's making me sick, but I'm going to buy, I'm going to buy some right now. I'm going to buy some crypto because you've learned that that's the time you should be buying and you should be selling. You'll feel sick, right? Because you're like, oh God, what if this goes up higher? You're selling, right? Oh, it's sick. But with the pressure that we have now is euphoria. Euphoria and greed is a dangerous motherfucker. Because here's the thing you got. What if it goes up higher? What if I wait a little bit longer? Well, this one crypto bro said we're going into a golden cross, right? Oh, we're going into a super, there's got to be a super cycle, right? And next thing you know, wah, wah. It goes down. And then, oh, you know what? We've seen it go back up every single other time. What's so different this time? Let's buy. And then it never makes it back up because that time happens. Unfortunately, it happens.
Does that also apply to creating content during these cycles? Do you find it to be easier in one season and more difficult in another?
Oh, this is so easy right now. This is easy mode. It's so easy. I could literally probably fart on the video and put Algorand in the video and it'd probably get at least 40 likes or something crazy, right? Back then, oh my God. They were hating on it, but a lot of people lost money on it.
And it's almost like
right?
people aren't interested, right? When everything tanks, it's boring. Nobody's talking about anything. It's almost like people become distracted with everything else, and that's
Well,
really
a lot of people got rugged last cycle, right? And you notice this cycle, there's a lot of this time is different narratives out there. Like they've really ran out all the stops now, for the speculative type bubble, but we're almost there, man. I think this could be the last hurrah, the last speculative crypto bull run before the real projects are taken, the real utility happens, and the real crypto gets probably boring because after a while, I mean, who's exciting about talking about money being moved? And so it sounds cool now because it might, triple your bags, but do you really care about the centralization or do you care about your coin going up? You tell me.
what would be the message to the people who are just getting in, right? The very new to the space. If your theory does play out to be correct and everything does pull back crazy, what would be your message to the people as the initial pullback does come down, as well as the timeline for however long those charts are read for?
So, I'd be throwing the emoji eyes.
So those are eyes.
This is a symbolization. If you comment something stupid and I was right, just know you're gonna get them emoji eyes. No, I mean I'm gonna communicate it throughout, just like I always do, right? Because I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. We talked about more followers. That terrifies me. Can I cap off my follower count, please? Because I already get a bunch of DMs, and it took me 2 years to go on lives, right? So I'm like, let me just be top 11 of your influencer list. But I'm excited in the fact that there's new crypto bros. There's Bullish Babe. There's you. There's other people coming out here that's doing great things for the community, really trying to listen to them, support them. And that's something I cherish because my grandma had passed away earlier this year. And like I said, she was always home throughout my childhood, right? She was like my other mother. Like she was basically my mother. It hurt really bad, and I put that out there for the community because they had to know something was wrong with me, why I'm not posting or whatever. And the level of feedback that I got was awesome, but I also wanted to teach a lesson because sometimes I focus so much on crypto, looking at charts, this and that. I didn't spend the time that I could with her during the last couple of years. And I was there for when she died, but it's just like you always regret the time you don't have, and it's really easy to get sucked into this, right? Like it's so easy to get sucked in, especially for people, ADHD people. But just know, you got to find balance. Go visit the people while they're still alive, because one day they won't be.
I said this on the sit down with Bullish Babe. I have a hard time finding a balance throughout the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years of my accumulation period getting into the space. I mean, I went way overboard, skipping meals, right, jumping turnstiles, just about. And it was like completely unnecessary, but it was like every dollar count. I was at a point in my life where I couldn't afford a hamburger. You know what I'm saying? So every dollar I made, I had to make it count. And I probably went a little bit too overboard with it. And it affected everything in my life. It affected relationships, everything, almost everything in my life. But I have a hard time finding that balance, especially now. Now that I consider myself a researcher and I try to stay up to date with everything that's going on. And I'm doing this, and this is another job. You know what I'm saying? This is
another job. You're right.
Absolute terrible pay. You know what I'm saying? It is like running a business. The amount of dedication for the return that you're kind of getting on it. We don't do this for the money. We do this.
No.
We do this as a sense of community.
It costs me money. It costs me money.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something we get a good feeling out of this, knowing that there are people here that we can kind of guide them in the right
I
direction.
think we do it because in a way, some of us, we didn't have that. It's kind of like how you buy, like me, I buy my freaking kid everything, right? Because I didn't have this, so he has everything. So you just want to do that for the people that, that follow you and you enjoy with, right? You want to make the road easier, yeah, and as much as you can, and not fall victim to, scams and praise and biases, and to just, play smart.
Yeah.
Play smart.
Even now, dude, I have a very hard time finding a balance. I haven't figured that out at all.
Well, you find it. You tell me, because I also run a website business, doing websites, and I do websites, and I have a grandchild now, and that's cool. But it's hard because it's lock-in season, basically, right? Like, we're right there. Like, we're in my thesis. Like, any day, like, things could just explode, right? Because there's a lot of people don't understand that, this is all really just one trade. And that's what really changed me from being just a regular person that focused so much into what everything XRP is doing, and this and this and that, or what this coin is doing. This, when I started understanding and looking at all markets, a light switch went on. It's all correlated together. It's all one big trade. And you can really start predicting different things by understanding that relationship, the relationships between gold and equities, and understanding relationships between dominances and market breadth, right? Which I know that Bullish Babe loves when I talk about market breadth. But because there's different things that we have seen every time we've seen the things that we've seen that were exciting. And that is altcoins taking off. Because I would assume that a lot of you on here are probably into altcoins, right?
I would say, yeah, majority of my listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you wanted to be into altcoins, you're actually hoping for the big smash away season where price just melts faces. Well, that happens at the end of the run, of Bitcoin's run, right? And I think we're right there. I mean, we're seeing it in the stock market, and we're seeing it in crypto. And it's kind of funny. It's like we're seeing it, but there's no euphoria. Right. It's like, Bitcoin's like, went over in $127,000. You had XRP go from 50 cents to, $3.60 or whatever. And you got Crow today. You got, all these, they're starting to pop, and it's like silently they're having their own little individual bull runs. Yeah. But that's usually a precipice before when things start happening. And sooner or later, you'll see that breath open wide up. And when that faucet's like a faucet. Right now, we had it squeaked a little bit, right? There's that breath coming. You see that Bitcoin dominance falling. But guess what? You start opening that thing up, and that thing starts gushing. The liquidity flies right into there. It's changed your life season for sure.
I hope you're right, man. I mean, I'm 26 years old. As I said, 2020, 2021, I got in. A majority of my 20s was sacrificed. Mm-hmm. Social life, relationships, everything for this. And I have a fear, and it's a fear of failure, or it's a fear of, I guess, taking a risk on my 20s or wasting my 20s. As I'm sure everybody else has a fear of it. Everyone kind of has their days of doubt. But when you do find people in this community that kind of, not that they're giving you hopium, but when they just give you that nudge of confidence, or that nudge of keep going, we're going in the right direction, they pick you back up. You know what I'm saying? You keep going. Right. Community is so important in this space. And I think what you and Bullish Babe are doing is an absolute great job. You guys truly do have an amazing fan base. And you guys are on point with everything you're saying, but you're picking people up all the time. How did you guys end up developing your community? Can you explain your relationship with her a little bit? How did you guys end up creating CosmicCrypto?
Okay, well, I have not proved yet or disproved that she's a plant from Coinbase. Okay, I haven't proved it yet. I'm just saying, it could be a possibility. But no, I ran into her through Milkshake Maddie, Well, actually, no. How did I run into her? Oh my God, I feel like I've known her forever now. See, she's implanted in my life. This is what handlers do to you. Well, Milkshake Maddie had told me about doing this Wolfpack thing, like doing a community, and Bullish Babe had kind of came out in the scene, and she was working with Nil at the time, right, and doing the videos with Nil. I made some comments to her videos or something, and then she had asked me if I wanted to work with Milkshake Maddie, so she's the one that actually reached out to me, right? So that's why I don't know if she's a plant yet, but maybe. But after talking with her, because like I don't trust anybody. Like I'm so bad about it. I don't trust anybody. I mean, I went through some shit in my life, right? Me telling my story, right? I wouldn't trust anybody either. But I trust her more than most people, so that's good. But she's like me if I was a female. We've both been married 16 years. She's funny too. But she can also help pull me down, you know. Plus I'm a Cancer, and like her sign, I can't remember what it is at this time, but they like are a good match for teamwork. A lot of times she just calls me crying in the morning, wanting to know what's going to happen next, and I have to like, Bullish Babe,
let me
sit down here.
Let me pull out the theory.
Of course, she'll have a different explanation, a different story. I love her. Yeah, we fight a lot, and we do it on the phone too. Like this is nothing like this is not scripted. Like you should hear some of the stuff that we talk about on the phone, because we're trying to figure out the market, and it's awesome to see that as a viewer, because you can get two different perspectives, because you as a viewer should have two different perspectives. You should kind of like be happy and fearful, right? It's like, oh, it went up, but shit, well, pitfalls are ahead. Oh, maybe this was a trick and we're going down, right? And to see us kind of like battle out based upon our own convictions, even though I mostly win, it's fun.
I think that's what attracts people. Is you guys are just genuine. You guys are having a real time, conversation as if you guys were on the phone and there wasn't 150 people watching you guys. And you guys do have good intentions at the heart. And I think people could sniff that out right away.
I think so too. I think the time of the polished crypto content is like falling, right? It's like falling more to the wayside. And because we've seen so much of it last cycle with the scammers and the Lambos and this and that, and we're seeing a real emergence of crypto bros, like real people. Like I feel like in my videos you can relate because you are me. I am you. I'm just a guy that instead turned the camera on, and recorded a bunch of funny shit. So yeah.
If I could bring us back into your belief systems here.
Only if we get done with this before the same time as Bullish Babes was, or before, because I made fun of her for talking so long on this, and I know she's going to clown me tomorrow.
Oh, we probably got another half hour or so. Unless you want to tap out. I could bring her in for you if you'd like to tap
out. She would love that.
All right, so you talk about how everything is just a one big trade and that there's a relationship between all markets, that they have some sort of a relationship.
Yes.
Walk me and people through this.
Okay, so let's just talk about bull runs, right? Expansion. Like what is the alt season called in the stock market? Well, it's called breadth, right? When you start seeing risk on assets like lower stocks start moving, right? That's breadth in the market. We haven't seen that for years, by the way. We've been such a coiled market. Everybody's been buying Bitcoin and Nvidia and Tesla and Apple, from the Magnificent Seven for freaking years, right? Right? Look at where Bitcoin is. And that usually happens when there's fear in the market. And we had the inflation fears, right? Where people start congregating out of the assets. There's a capitulation that happens, and they start capitulating into the strongest asset. And we usually see that go into Bitcoin. You'll notice Bitcoin's dominance, looking at the all chart, one big one for the first time, second one a little bit littler, right? Because there's other assets that's actually been considered a safe asset, like stablecoins, Ethereum. And I suspect, because I know I did it, I was throwing shit into XRP as a safe haven for a little bit, right? Because remember when it wasn't going down, but everything else like Ethereum and shit were crashing into their fucking lows? Yeah, yeah, right? It was like a safe haven for like one of the first times ever. It was crazy. It's like, yeah, now you want a stable coin, bitch, right? I'm sure other people did it on here too. But going back to it, it's all one trade, right? Because it's liquidity, right? Liquidity flows into other markets. It flows, like people in gold, for instance. Gold is a hedge. Gold is a flight to safety, right? When things bad are happening, you're going to see gold going up when there's fear, right? Sometimes you'll see both of them go up at the same time, where you see like Bitcoin, for instance. Bitcoin was taking off with gold, and then people were comparing it to gold, right? Or this is digital gold, but I think that was just more or less the capitulation of other assets into Bitcoin because of the ETF, because of the original fear that helped take it up further. Because I didn't think we're gonna get the ETF approval for Bitcoin, because they've dangled that in our faces for years. And we sure as shit we got it. That shit went to 100K while all the altcoins did what? Retraced. And that's why they did that, because gold exploded. So you see, things have a relationship with each other. And when you start looking at, let's say, the Russell into the Dow Jones Industrial Average and Bitcoin, and you start looking at their charts, and you start putting them on top of each other, you're going to notice confluence, right? And the big thing that we have always had to have, the ingredients of a crypto bull market. Are you ready for this? So if you were a chef and you were going to make a bull market, crypto bull market, right? You gotta have gold being boring. We can't have gold flying up doing crazy shit. We can't have fear, right? We need it to be boring or going down, right? So they gotta have that ingredient. Then you have to have a breakout in the Russell, because the Russell is a sign of what? What is it?
Altcoins?
No, the Russell. I
don't know. I'm not.
You're paying attention.
Look, if you're the chef, I'm absolutely trying to take
chef.
the plate to my own. I'm absolutely trying to take the plate to my own table, and
I know you're thinking about the food
I'll be
now.
trying to make it myself.
Now you're hungry, right? So the Russell is the low stocks, right? So specifically the Russell 2000, right? So think of that as the altcoins of the stock market, right? Well, you have to have that pop. You have to have that break, resistances. We have to get a good run off of that, right? Which we got, by the way. It happened Friday and it set a higher high today. Awesome. Risk on good, right? You also have to have the DXY kind of sitting at the bottoms, because that's where it was last cycle. It actually, on the second bottom, that's when things broke out. You have to have that ingredient, right? Well, we're basically there now. We're getting ready to hit that last little foot there. So we have all these different ingredients that require a bull market. And now we just need one thing: ignition. Light it up. Let this baby fly. Throw some more great narratives. This time is different, because guess what? The government's using the blockchain. Why did they say the blockchain?
The blockchain.
Why can't they just give us the name of the one? Damn them.
What do you think it's going to be? Do you actually think that it's going to be like Chainlink, Ethereum, something like that? What do you think?
Nope. I ran it through my thesis. No, I'm just kidding. I did do some research on which one AI would think, because I was curious, right? Because obviously, if you had that coin, that would be great, right?
Yep. It's all Oracle databases. So
one could suspect.
Looking at oracles.
One could suspect that maybe it could be XRP, right? Because look, they got the they got the raw end of the deal and had to deal with the SEC. So maybe like a give me, right? But I'll tell you what AI thinks it is. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong one. Oh, my chat GPT is deep, bro.
I even saw something today, like somebody in our Discord had said that the XRP ledger or Ripple is trying to integrate oracles within the ecosystem, which I didn't know.
Oh, I'm on Cosmically Bullish. No wonder.
Oh, brother, you're killing me here. Come on, spit it out.
Hold on, it's almost loading. You understand how long this thesis is because, like, you know, for one thing, I'm not just throwing like asking Chat GPT shit. Like when I talk about my thesis, like all that stuff I just talked about, like the different relationships, whatever, I put all that into Chat GPT, into the prompt, right? I filled it out like with 5 pages worth of data. Okay, here we go. It's loading now. American block. Okay, so I speculate that they would choose an American-made blockchain, right? You would think, right? Right? I said, which American-made blockchain would you speculate and give a percentage for each? And likely it said Hyperledger Fabric as the number one choice, 35% odds. Next is Consensus Quorum, the Ethereum government variant, 25%. I never really heard of this one, but Provenance Blockchain, 15%. Number 4, get this, Hedera Hashgraph. Come on, baby. HBAR, let's go. That would be so badass. And it's good, right? It's U.S. founded, Enterprise Government Council, includes Google, IBM, Boeing. I would. Or a new American blockchain purpose built for government. One they haven't even told us yet. This is the government, U.S. government, America chain.
I had to look this up because I had something in the back of my brain that was telling me something that I researched had connections to the Hyperledger.
Well, it's IBM and Linux, you know, and you can't buy the coin, right? So obviously they would pick one that doesn't require a coin, right?
So I see Ripple has worked closely with Hyperledger Quilt, the Linux Foundation's enterprise for the ILP interoperability, interledger protocol. Ripple's also measured the Hyperledger Foundation. Stellar as well. The Stellar Development Foundation joined Hyperledger Foundation as well. Quant is designated to be the blockchain agnostic integration team with Hyperledger.
And it's probably that then, isn't it?
HBAR, right? IBM is a Hedera Governance Council member that is one of the backers for Hyperledger. What is the possibility that this on the blockchain is actually a multi-chain?
It very well could be. But the thing is here's your carrot. Go speculate all you want.
By the time you hear about it, it'll be too late.
But what does it do to like, number one, normies, right? It gives it validity, right? Like, oh my gosh, well, the government's using it. It's good, right? Because who knows when they tell us? Why didn't they tell us right away? Why do they keep on pausing these ETFs? Why can't they just approve them? Seems like they're waiting for a certain moment when their most liquidity is in the market, a certain moment when maybe it seems like Bitcoin may not be needing to go. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. It's Bullish Babe trash talking me into a text saying, haha, told you it would be longer than an hour. He has you trapped. He has you trapped.
You called it. You said I got to get off. She's going to bully me.
I'm going to hear about it tomorrow.
I'm never going to let it down. Let me jump into some rapid questions.
Okay.
Fire them. Where the fuck are we?
It's nice to be with somebody who actually cusses once in a while too, because I cuss too. Bullish babe, she don't cuss so much. She always frowns upon me
Funny,
cussing.
I was saying this to Bullish Babe or somebody. I said that when we got into the Discord after me and the Bullish Babe interview, people were saying that your viewers coming into this channel to check it out, they said they probably think that we're like drunk sailors or something. Because I don't think that the people really necessarily hear you guys use profanity, and over here I'm making fun of
She
people.
don't, even on the phone, like she don't. I mean, she's like literally the Mary Poppins of
She's
crypto.
a Connecticut girl, an uptown girl.
Mary Poppins of crypto.
Right,
Mary Poppins.
I want you to think
yes.
of a crypto influencer right now. All right, just think of one for a second.
Think of a crypto influencer.
Yeah, don't tell me.
Okay, like an influencer or content creator.
It could be either one.
Okay.
Give me your best impression of them.
So, I can't stretch my chin out.
That
Next.
Oh, you're sick.
Oh, Will Watson's fucked, didn't he?
If the market dumped 90% tomorrow, what would be the first meme video that you would make?
Do you believe in life after love?
Okay.
With me laying on the ground, passed out, looking like, you know.
Is the ledger hanging from the garage ceiling?
One time I forgot that it was hanging. I took the truck out. I was like, oh, fuck. And the thing fell. Dude, I can tell you what. And this is why I always say I love Ledger. I have dropped it so many times. Like, I'm clumsy, okay? Always works. 100% of the time.
Cosmic, what would be one crypto that you would only buy if you were really hammered? We're talking an entire night of bad decisions here.
I'd probably have to be really, really hammered to buy a meme coin. Any meme coin.
I'm going to pin you to one. Which one is it?
Any meme coin.
What is the worst crypto name that you've ever heard?
The worst what?
Crypto name that you've ever heard.
Like for a meme coin?
Yeah, for a coin.
Oh yeah, I have flashbacks of Cat Girl.
I've never heard of that one.
That was last cycle, man. Let's just say I got into my feelings. You know what dopamine does? Bunch of green candles smack you into the face. Next thing you know, you're betting a good amount on some stupid ass fucking coin. That
Cat Girl. I think the one that had me and my boys pissing ourselves was Cat Whiff Knife.
Cat Whip Night. There's always that one coin like you barely talk about, right? Because when you do, it brings up feelings. Like it's more than just a word. There's a feeling associated with that coin. Chat, put your coin in that top in the chat, whatever coin that is. That one that you felt screwed on.
If Bitcoin had a personality, would it be the grumpy old man or the rich uncle?
Oh yeah, he's a grumpy ass old man, isn't he?
He's fucking wiping.
He's
wiping his ass.
I could even speculate this could be the end of Bitcoin, but maybe who knows?
He's bitching that the newspaper boy threw it on the grass again. It's gonna leave a stain. Who would win in a boxing match? We got Brad Garlinghouse, Charles Hoskins, or Vitalik.
Oh, Brad definitely.
Brad looks shooting. He's got the tattoo and everything.
Yeah.
Who do you think
you want your like focal point, center point guy to be cool, right? Bullish Babe. She has a thing with that. They have to be cool.
Who do you think would be a better drag book time storyteller? Would it be Vitalik or David Schwartz? Who could fit into a
I don't think I ever want to hang out with Vitalik. I would like to hang out with David Schwartz. I would probably enjoy that time.
You know what? I met David Schwartz twice, and when I was in Austin, Texas, he was coming down the stairs, and I said hi to him, and he looked like he shit himself. He looked like I like ran up to him and like was like a crazed fan or something. I was walking up the stairs. I'm like, hey, what's up, David? He was like, and I was there with Crypto Cuzzy, and Crypto Cuzzy's like, why the fuck did he look at you like that? I was like, I don't know, but I don't think he likes me or something. He looked like he shit himself.
You know, intelligent people are different people. That's for damn sure.
I got one final last one for you. What would you rather do? Explain DeFi to your grandmother, or watch Vitalik do a TikTok dance challenge?
Well, if I get to see my grandma again, that'd be a bonus. So I obviously would pick that one. But if it was my mom, I would definitely be watching Vitalik shake his ass off. I don't even care if it's on OnlyFans. My mom doesn't get out of work any technology.
Bikini only TikTok dance.
No, I'm not doing that for you.
Do you have a final message for anybody listening that's maybe new to this space and looking to grow?
I know if you're bullish, follow somebody who's bearish. If you're bearish, follow somebody that's bullish. And you can usually find that on the Cosmically Bullish Show. And not only that, we're going to give you a bunch of laughs and send you on your way with a great attitude.
Guys, they absolutely do have a great show. Please follow Cosmic Crypto and Bullish Babe. They go live on TikTok every single day during the weekdays at 3:30. Cosmic, thank you so much for coming on, man. You had me cracking up.
Thank you for having me, man. Shout out to you, my community, for following me. Make sure you give him a follow. And if you're on him, I mean, I'm funny, bro. Fuck, what do you want?
You are funny as fuck.
And I get it right a lot.
Maybe I'll send you one of these in the mail. Maybe we'll.
You got it. I want one of those.
Yeah, the crypto nerd hat.
Yeah. I actually have a hat that just says nerd, and the hashtag.
I think we're both crypto nerds. I think that's pretty obvious.
You gotta be. But always watch the ones that look really cool, and that's why I can't wait to battle Will Watson. I think he may be a plant from Coinbase. Find out next week. Cool. I expose William Watson.
We're gonna go back to back with the debates, brother. I got your back. You get mine. All right, brother.
Got you, bro.
Thank you so much for being here.
You gonna drop me off, or do you not know how to do that?
I think I'll add a couple more boxes into it before
I'll disconnect myself then. How about that?
All right.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.